Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. It's 8 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and get started. As we wait for Maharaj to arrive, we'll just have a short kirtan. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti namine Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
But yeah, Mirage is
Okay.
joined us.
Yes, I just saw Mirage. Okay, Hare Krishna Mirage, welcome back. We're so honored to have you again.
Thank you.
So without further ado, Mirage, please take it away.
To begin, I will sing the Mangala Charana prayers and lead a short kirtan, and then speak about Krishna Janmashtami, which is coming up in exactly 1 week. Vande Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Bhavita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti
Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asatya Devacharine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asatya Devacharine
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva,
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, my dear devotees who have joined on Zoom, as far as possible, please put on your cameras so we can see your moon-like faces and it will be more personal. So tonight we are going to discuss Sri Krishna Janmastami, the appearance day of Lord Krishna, which is coming up in 1 week. On special occasions such as this, and soon we'll be celebrating the pastime of Mother Yashoda binding Krishna with ropes, and then Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill. Unless we know who Krishna is, we won't know what to make of these seemingly fantastic stories. The scriptures give different explanations of why Krishna, the all-loving, ever-blissful, Supreme Person, appears. The Bhagavad Gita 4:8 states, Parikranaya sadhunam vinashaya chuduskritam dharma samstapanarthaya, that he appears to deliver the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants and to reestablish the principles of religion. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-36 explains further. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham astitaha bhajate tadrishi krida yashutva tat paro bhavet. When the Supreme Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. So who is Krishna? Is Krishna just a concept? Or, as some people think, it is that the impersonal one assumes the form of Krishna or Rama or Shiva or Ganesh or Durga, and you can worship any form and in the end merge into the one. To avoid such misunderstandings, we have to know who Krishna is. And that begins with studying the Bhagavad Gita and then the first cantos of the Bhagavatam. Ultimately, Srimad Bhagavatam gives us a picture of the spiritual world, what life with God in the spiritual world is like. We read about Krishna, how he comes home from tending the cows And we read that we can live with him forever in a loving relationship in the most splendorous land of Vrindavan. And we become attracted and think, oh, I want to go there. I want to experience that life. That is why Krishna comes specifically in his human-like form, to show mercy to his devotees, so that by hearing about life with Krishna, we become attracted to him and inspired to dedicate our lives to him. But we should not think that Krishna is only in the spiritual world. Krishna is everywhere. And if we surrender to him, we can get the same benefit here in the material world that the pure devotees get in the spiritual world. If you read the Krishna book or otherwise hear about the pastimes of Krishna, you'll find that almost every day some demon was coming to Vrindavan to cause trouble. But did the residents of Vrindavan come rushing out with their plows and sticks to attack the demons? No, they took shelter of Krishna. And what did Krishna do? He protected them. So when we hear these stories, we should think, wow, Krishna is so kind to his devotees. Even in the midst of the worst calamity, if we just take shelter of Krishna, he will protect us. All I need to do is surrender to Krishna. So Krishna appears for that reason, and we can make the purpose of his appearance successful by hearing about his pastimes and dedicating ourselves to him. So now I will speak more about the actual appearance of Lord Krishna. I will read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tato Jagan Mangalam Achutam Sam Samahitam Surasutena Devi Dadara Sarvatmakam Atmabhutam Kastayatanandakaram Manasta. Translation. Thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart. Just as the East becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As indicated here by the word manasta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was transferred from the core of Vasudeva's mind or heart to the core of the heart of Devaki. We should note carefully that the Lord was transferred to Devaki not by the ordinary way for a human being, but by diksha, initiation. Thus, the importance of initiation is mentioned here. Unless one is initiated by the right person, who always carries within his heart the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot acquire the power to carry the Supreme Godhead within the core of one's own heart. The word achutamsam is used because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sad Aishwarya Purna, full in the opulences of wealth, strength, fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. The Supreme Godhead is never separated from his personal opulences. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amena Tishtan. The Lord is always situated with his plenary expansions, such as Rama, Nrsimha, and Varaha. Therefore, the word achutamsam is specifically used here, signifying that the Lord is always present with his plenary expansions and opulences. There is no need to think of the Lord artificially as yogis do. Dhyanavasti tatadgatena manasa pasyantiyam yogina. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:13:1. Yogis meditate upon the Supreme Person within the mind. For a devotee, however, the Lord is present, and his presence need only be awakened through initiation by a bona fide spiritual master. The Lord did not need to live within the womb of Devaki, for his presence within the core of her heart was sufficient to carry him. One is here forbidden to think that Krishna was begotten by Vasudeva within the womb of Devaki, and that she carried the child within her womb. When Vasudeva was sustaining the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like the glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to the common man. The form of the Lord, situated in the pure, unalloyed heart of Vasudeva, is not different from the original form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere, and specifically within the heart, is called Dhamma. Dhamma refers not only to Krishna's form, but to his name, his form, his qualities, and his paraphernalia. Everything becomes manifest simultaneously. Thus, the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full potencies was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, exactly as the setting sun's rays are transferred to the full moon rising in the east. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva. He was beyond the conditions of the ordinary living entity. When Krishna is there, it is to be understood that all his plenary expansions, such as Narayan, and incarnations like Lord Nrsimha and Varaha, are with him, and they are not subject to the conditions of material existence. In this way, Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second and the cause of all creation. Devaki became the residence of the Absolute Truth, but because she was in the house of Kamsa, she looked just like a suppressed fire, or like misused education. When fire is covered by the walls of a pot or kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of the fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, misused knowledge, which does not benefit the people in general, is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kamsa's palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Commenting on this verse, Sri Viraraghava Acharya writes, Vasudeva Devaki Yatayor Hridayor Bhagavata Sambandha. The Supreme Lord's entrance into the womb of Devaki from the heart of Vasudeva was a heart-to-heart relationship. Hare Krishna. So we have gathered to remember and celebrate the appearance of Lord Krishna in this world. According to Vedic literature, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the absolute truth, the origin of all that exists. And he is realized in three features, non-dual, Advaya, as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 1-11. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yajgyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Brahman is the impersonal effulgence that emanates from the transcendental form of the Lord. Paramatma is the localized feature of the Lord within the heart. And Bhagavan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full in six opulences. The form of Krishna is not material. Our bodies are material, distinct from the soul, which is spiritual. But in the case of Krishna, he and his body are not different because he is absolute. There is no difference between his inside and his outside. He is completely spiritual. The Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. He is the origin of all, but he himself has no origin. He is the prime cause of all causes. That is Krishna. Everything we see in the material world has a cause. On a simple level, we can say, I am caused by my parents, or my body is caused by my parents. They, in turn, were caused by their parents, who, in turn, were caused by their parents. And if we keep going back further, eventually we will come to the original cause, and that is Krishna, Sarvakarana Karanam. He is the cause of everything, the cause of all causes, but he himself has no cause. This is hard for us to understand in the conditioned state because everything material has a cause. Everything has a beginning and an end, but Krishna has no beginning and no end. He is eternal, Sanatana. Eternal means no beginning and no end. Even we, as spirit souls, are also eternal. We have no beginning and no end. Our life in a particular body has a beginning, which we call birth or conception, and it has an end within a particular body, which we call death. But we, as spirit souls, have no beginning and no end, because we are parts and parcels of Krishna. We are of the same quality as Krishna, just in different quantity. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 15:7, Mamevang so jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana manasastrani indriyani prakriti stani karshati. The living entities in this conditional world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they're struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The living entity is an eternal fragmental part of Krishna. This is the sublime philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Achintya Bheda Ved Tattva, the inconceivable simultaneous oneness and difference of the living entity and the Supreme Lord. We are one in quality with the Lord, but different in quantity. He is infinite, and we are infinitesimal. Because we have the same qualities, we can have a relationship with him. Unless there is some commonness, we cannot have a relationship. And because of the difference in quantity, he is the whole and we are the part, our relationship is one of service. It is a natural function of the part to serve the whole. For example, the hand is part of the body. So the function of the hand is to serve the body. If the hand doesn't serve the body, there is something wrong. It is diseased or dead. So our natural function is to serve Krishna. Jiver Svarupai, Krishna and Nityadas. As we are eternal, as Krishna is eternal, and our relationship, our service is also eternal. It never ends. This is called Sanatan Dharma. Earlier, we mentioned the three features of the Absolute Truth, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. There are different classes of transcendentalists who have different spiritual aspirations. Most people are materialists. They are not even interested in spiritual life. They just want to enjoy the world. But when one becomes a little more elevated, a little more purified in consciousness, one thinks of improving oneself spiritually. And when one becomes serious enough, one will actually enter into a discipline in a particular school of thought and practice. So one category of transcendentalists is the Gyanis. Their goal is to merge and become with Brahman, the impersonal effulgence that emanates from the transcendental body of Krishna. And higher than the Gyanis are the Yogis. They want to realize the localized feature, the Lord within the heart. And above them, the highest, are the Bhaktas. They want to enter into a loving relationship with Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although in one sense, because the Absolute Truth is non-dual, Advaya, all transcendentalists are the same, still from an analytical or objective point of view, there are degrees of realization. As stated earlier, Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. Sat means eternal, Chit means cognizant, and Ananda means blissful. The Gyanis who attain impersonal Brahman realize only the Sat feature, eternal existence. The yogis who realize Paramatma have perception of Sat, eternity, and Chit, knowledge, because they apprehend the individuality of the Lord in the heart. And the bhaktas, devotees, have full realization of Sat, Chit, and Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss, because real happiness comes from loving relationships. Although one may say that there's a sort of bliss in impersonal Brahman, compared with the ecstatic happiness of loving service to Krishna, it is insignificant. There are many statements in the Shastra, the Vedic scriptures, to the effect that the happiness realized in relationship with Krishna is like an ocean, and that the happiness of merging or trying to merge into impersonal Brahman is like a puddle of water in comparison. Tavat Sakshat Karana da Vishnu Nabhi Stitasya me Sukani Gopadayante Brahmanyapi Jagat Guru. Quote, my dear Lord, O Master of the universe, since I have directly seen you, my transcendental bliss has taken the shape of a great ocean. Being situated in that ocean, I now realize that all other so-called happiness, the pleasure derived from impersonal Brahman, to be like the water contained in the hoofprint of a cat. Hare Bhakti Sudodaya, 1436. Practically, there is no comparison. Furthermore, to realize impersonal Brahman is very difficult, especially in the present age. And even if one succeeds or imagines that one has succeeded, there is every chance that one will fall down. Yanye rivindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayas divavad abhishuddha buddhaya aruya krichena parampadam tata patantya donadrita yushmadangraya. O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees who accept severe austerities and penances to achieve the highest perfection may think themselves liberated, their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lotus feet. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 10:2-32. More likely, they just imagine that they have realized Brahman. But whether they have actually realized it or just imagined they have, because they have neglected service to the lotus feet of Krishna, they fall down. Patantyada. So, why does the Lord descend? He is Satchidananda Vigraha, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, and he lives in his spiritual abode, where everything is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. And he is served by great souls completely free of material contamination, liberated from the material bodies that cause so much pain. So why should the Lord come here at all? What does he have to gain? Personally, he has nothing to gain, but he comes out of his mercy to deliver us. The material world is compared to a prison house, and we, conditioned souls, are the prisoners. We are restricted like prisoners. We can't just go anywhere and everywhere, wherever we want. Liberated souls can travel anywhere in the universe. They don't need spaceships or any other such contraptions. They can move about freely, but we are bound. We are not allowed to leave this planet very easily, and even if we do, we don't really have any other place to stay. So we are bound. We have to suffer. There are different schools of philosophy, Saddarshan, and one philosopher has analyzed and concluded that the body is meant for misery. He gives the example of your little finger. How many ways can your little finger enjoy? Not many. And how many ways can it feel pain? So many. Even a little sliver or blister can be so painful. And the finger can be cut, burned, crushed. The body is so vulnerable, but the soul is not. As the Gita says, it cannot be cut, it cannot be burned, it cannot be made wet, it cannot be withered. It is beyond the range of material elements. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledaya tyantyo, na soshayanti maruta. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Gita 2:23. Without the body, the soul can enjoy freely in every way, but without the pain. And because the soul is part and parcel of Krishna, it derives its real happiness in relation to Krishna. We are now like fishes out of water, because originally we come from Krishna, from the spiritual atmosphere. And we have come into the material world and are suffering in a foreign atmosphere. We're always restless, anxious, and fearful. So why does Krishna come? He comes to reclaim us, his lost children, to bring us back home, back to him. That is why he comes. There is no other reason. There is nothing for him here. He comes only for our sake. Although he comes into the material world, he doesn't come in a physical body. He comes in his original spiritual form, Satchidananda Vigraha. And Krishna in particular comes in a form that resembles a human being. As it is said, man is made in the image of God. That Krishna comes in a human-like form is very good for us because it makes it easier for us in human bodies to relate to him. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusam dehamastitaha bhajade tadrisha krida yashrutva tatparo bhavet. When the Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. Again, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-36. He comes to reclaim us and deliver us as lost children and devotees. And how does he come? He does not take birth like an ordinary human being by seminal discharge. Rather, he manifests himself or appears. Ajopi sana vyayatma bhutanam ishwaro pisan prakritim sam adishtaya sambhavamyatmamayaya. Quote, although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. And that is what we read. It is a very esoteric subject, how the Lord appears, but he chooses a completely purified devotee and enters the mind of that completely purified devotee. The name of the devotee whose mind Krishna entered is given here, Vasudeva. And the state that enabled him to receive Krishna within his pure mind is called Vasudeva, which means completely beyond the three modes of material nature, completely transcendental. The state of pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. Completely pure consciousness is known as Vasudeva. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Sabditam Yad Iyate Tatra Pumam Apavrita Sattve Chatasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo Yadokshajo Me Manasa Vidiyate. The condition of pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed without any covering, is called Vasudeva. And that pure state, the Supreme Godhead, who is beyond the material senses and who is known as Vasudeva, is perceived in my mind. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23, quoted as Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 4.66. After Vasudeva received Krishna within his purified mind or heart, he, by his spiritual power, transferred Krishna into the purified heart of Devaki. There was no seminal discharge. And the process by which the Supreme Personality of Godhead was transferred from the heart of Vasudeva to the heart of Devaki is called Diksha. Diksha means spiritual initiation. Diksha takes place between teacher or guru and disciple. When the guru is qualified enough, he can carry Krishna within his heart. And when the disciple is qualified enough, he can receive Krishna from the guru through the exchange called Diksha. We cannot attain Krishna by our own efforts. We have to receive Krishna by the mercy of one who has him. Thus, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great spiritual teacher, prays to the pure devotee. Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite paro, tomara sakati ache. Amito kangala, Krishna Krishna boli, dai tava pache pache. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. I am simply running behind you, shouting, Krishna, Krishna. That's from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book of songs called Sharanagati. And the song is called O He Vaishnava Thakur. The act of Diksha, as described in today's verse, is really the culmination of a gradual process. The process of purification varies from age to age, although the basic process is the same, Krishna consciousness. In the present age, The specific process recommended is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranita. One should chant the holy name, chant the holy name, chant the holy name of Lord Hari Krishna. There is no other means, no other means, no other means for success in this age. Brihadaranyaka Purana 38, 126. Chant is repeated 3 times for emphasis. You must do it, you must do it, you must do it. There was once a cartoon in a newspaper which depicted an elderly man sitting across from his wife. She was requesting him, chant, chant, chant. And he was replying, can't, can't, can't. That is our misfortune. Shastra, scripture tells us, chant, chant, chant. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama. And for no good reason, just some causeless aversion, we say, not necessarily by our words, but by our behavior, can't, can't, can't. Can't because I'm too busy. Can't because I prefer other things. Can't because. So Harinama, Harinama, Harinama is emphatic. Chant, chant, chant. And Kalo Nastyeva, 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 there is no other way, no other way, no other way for success in this age. The process of chanting Sankirtan cleanses the heart, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, and makes it a fit place for the Lord to reside. That is what we have to do to prepare to receive him. We have to chant. And chanting is pleasant. That's the other thing. Although the result of Krishna consciousness is the highest, the process is also the easiest and most sublime. It's almost too good to be true, but it is true. Chanting is easy and joyful, and at the same time it cleanses the heart, Cheto Darpano Marjanam, and makes it a fit place for the Lord to reside. That is the perfection of Krishna consciousness, and it is possible for each and every one of us. So Krishna comes to give us this message. And if from this occasion, Sri Krishna Janmashtami, we can just take this message, take it in our heart, that will be the beginning of our perfection. We must take it in our heart and practice it and repeat it to others. Repeat it both for the benefit of others and for our own sake. And the results will be glorious. Krishna's purpose in appearing in this world will be fulfilled, and our purpose as human beings will be fulfilled. And we will all be happy in Krishna consciousness together. Hare Krishna. So we have spoken a little about the Lord's merciful appearance. And now we can open the floor or open the mic to devotees to ask questions or make comments, share with us their reflections. I see Shamachandra Das is raising his hand.
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi, Krishna Guru Maharaj, Krishna Maha Obeisans, all glories to your divine grace. I have a question, not specifically related to your lecture, although it was very nice, very esoteric. Has related to Krishna book. In the Krishna book, um, Devaki is the daughter of Devaka, and Kamsa is the son of Ugrasena. But um, but but Ravana and Devaki, but Kamsa and Devaki, they're not siblings. They don't have the same father. How is it that they are siblings?
Yes, technically, they're cousins. And in India, they would often use the phrase cousin brother or cousin sister. So in that sense, we can say that Kamsa was the brother of Devaki, but actually it would be more precise to say that he was the cousin. That's a good point. Cousin brother of.
I have another question. You don't have to answer it.
Okay. What is it?
Why did Krishna allow the Holocaust?
Well, that is it's sort of like the question of the problem of evil. And, Srila Prabhupada says that, Krishna is light, but when we turn our backs on Krishna, we are in darkness, in shadow. And Krishna gives us minute independence. Ultimately, he wants our love, and love is voluntary. So we have free will, and also we are part and parcel of Krishna. Mame Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. And Krishna has complete independence, and as his parts and parcels, we have minute independence, which means that we can use our free will properly or improperly. And when we use it properly, we serve Krishna and all living entities. And when we misuse our minute independence, we go against Krishna's will and engage in many sinful activities, such as the Holocaust. But we can't really blame Krishna for that. It's our misuse of our free will that we engage in such horrible activities. It's described in the Bhagavad Gita, the demoniac nature engage in unbeneficial, horrible works. Well, I see there are some other hands up.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So Nitai Gaur Sundar Prabhu, can you decide who will speak next?
I think Krishna Lila Mataji's hand was up first.
Okay.
Actually, Phanishri's hand was up first. It's okay, Mataji. You can go. You can go, please. I'll ask
Hare
later.
Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I was wondering about when you were talking about this transference from Vasudev's heart to Devaki's heart. You were referring to it being an initiation. So this transference from the guru to the disciple is called Diksha, just like Vasudev transferred Krishna to Devaki. So can this transference also be applicable to both types of the gurus, the Shiksha guru and the Diksha guru, even though it's called Diksha, this transference?
Yes, that's a good question. I mean, it is mentioned specifically here, Diksha, but the same transferal can take place through Shiksha. That is true, and therefore Chaitanya Charitamrita says that we should respect our Shiksha gurus and Diksha guru on the same level. Of course, there are different kinds of Shiksha gurus. Some are more general and some are more particular. But yes, there was one GBC meeting in which the GBC was listing the, I guess you would say, qualities of the guru or functions of the guru. And His Holiness Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj wanted them to put on the list, he gives Krishna. And somehow they were reluctant to put that on the board. But Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj says, you must put it. He gives Krishna, he gives Krishna, he gives Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
accept my respectful obeisances. Thank you for a wonderful class. I have two questions. I'll ask them both and you could answer them however you want. My first question is, when they say that Krishna and there's no separation between Krishna and his body, like Krishna and his, what does that exactly mean? How can I understand what that means?
Yeah. So in our case, there's a difference between the soul and the body, because the soul is spiritual and the body is material. But in the case of Krishna, he's all spiritual. He's absolute. There's no difference between his inside and his outside. So he's Advaya, he's non-dual.
Okay. My other question is about the chanting. As you were saying, this process is sublime and it's easy. How come it's so difficult for us? I mean, there will be days when we're thinking, this is what chanting is. And there will be days, and unfortunately, sometimes this other type is what adds more, like, oh my God, still have rounds to chant. How can we, and sometimes it feels that I feel bad because now it has become a chore. It has been something that I need to do instead of something that, oh, let's do this. How can we get out of that mindset? How do we change that?
Yes, well, there are many nice books about chanting. Harijan Prabhu has written a book called Japa, and His Holiness Sachidananda Swami has written many nice books about chanting, and reading those books will help us. And some devotees have written affirmations. And yeah, although you wouldn't necessarily think that they work, but they do actually, affirmations do actually work. So you can have your affirmations, I like chanting. I've facilitated japa retreats at japa workshops with, many wonderful devotees. And in one of them, Mahatma Prabhu was saying, today is 64 round day, because one of the days we would dedicate to chanting 64 rounds. And so he wrote, today I have to chant 64 rounds. And then he crossed out the have and put get. Today I get to chant 64 rounds to change our mindset, change our attitude towards our chanting. But yeah, I mean, chanting, because we have to do it and finish our rounds, it's not bad, but it's not the best. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So if there are no more questions or comments, maybe we can end now.
Maharaj, one more question here.
Yes, Kartiki from Pune.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Am I audible?
You are?
Yes. Maharaj, my question was that Krishna is little hesitant to give a love of Godhead, and he checks the surrender of devotee thoroughly before giving the love of Godhead. Is it true, Maharaj?
Yes, it is said that Krishna will give other benedictions more easily, but he does not give love of Godhead so easily, because by love of Godhead, he becomes conquered by his devotee. But Srila Jiva Goswami comments that that statement is not exactly true, because Krishna likes to be conquered by the love of his devotees. He likes it. But the purport of the statement is to show how rare and how valuable love of Godhead is. That's the actual understanding.
Guru Maharaj, my related question was, if this is the case, like it's very rare opportunity that Krishna grants the pure love of Godhead, then I feel myself like I'm not Kunti Maharani who will say Vipada Santuta Shashvat, nor like gopis who are like pure devotees. But at the same time, I don't want to lose this opportunity of this human life, this birth. So is there any hope for me? Like,
Of course there's hope for you. You should persevere. There's a small book by Srila Rupa Goswami called Upadeshamrita that Srila Prabhupada has given us under the title The Nectar of Instruction. And that book in one verse mentions the 6 items that will guarantee one's complete success in devotional service. So utsaha, that means enthusiasm, nischayat, confidence, and Daryat, patience, Tatat Karma, Pravartanat. And in one purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that, that Krishna consciousness is so pure and perfect that having once begun, one is dragged to ultimate success. So just persevere. Utsaha Nishchayat Daryat. And ultimately you will be successful by the grace of Krishna and the Parampara. Yeah, don't give up, don't stop.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you. I'll try to persevere my best. Haribol.
Malati Dasi?
You have to unmute yourself, Mother Mal.
Thank you so much for your beautiful class today, Guru Maharaj. I have a question related about initiation. If a devotee is not yet initiated and following the instructions of her spiritual master, and it's a heart-to-heart relationship. There is not such officially that devotee is getting the direct sangha of her guru, but she is having this relationship. But then, if in between that guru leaves his body, and then she's having that heart-to-heart relationship and following all the instructions. So is it important to take initiation, Maharaj? Because can she just continue with the same relationship ahead?
Yeah, there have been a number of cases like that. In some of those cases, the devotees have come to me. And one should take initiation. It's part of the standard process of bhakti yoga. A guru padashraya, diksheti, shiksheti. One should take shelter of the lotus feet of the spiritual master, take initiation and instructions from him. But of course, the disciple should take initiation from a guru who is cognizant of and respectful of that disciple's relationship with the other guru who left before he could initiate that disciple. Yeah, there was one lady in Mayapur who was very attached to His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj. But he left before he could initiate her. And, you know, because of my relationship with His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj, she approached me, and I felt, you know, within my heart that Sridhar Swami Maharaj was directing me to accept her. So, you know, first we went to Srila Prabhupada Samadhi, and then we went to His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj's Samadhi. And I initiated her in front of Sridhar Swami Maharaj's Samadhi on behalf of Sridhar Swami. And in front of his Samadhi, I said to her, I'm initiating you on behalf of Sridhar Swami, but I'm also initiating you. You know, I can't really initiate you on behalf of Sridhar Swami because that would be a Ritvik initiation. And Sridhar Swami was completely against Ritvik. And she said, I know.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. It was such a beautiful exchange. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are there any other questions or comments? Well, if not, then I suppose we can end now, which I suggest we do with Vaishnava Pranam. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and are full of compassion for all the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Panchakalpataru kripa sindhu eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Sri Krishna Janmastami ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Right.
Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari
Hari
Hari.
Hari.
Raj Maharaj ki jai.
Jai, jai, jai.
Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj, Hare Hare
Thank you,
Krishna
Guru
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Guru
Hare
Maharaj. Hare
Krishna. Thank
Krishna.
you very much.
Thank
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.